Let's see. Oh, yes, streaming live on YouTube. We should be there as well. So perfect. So we've got some people in the live room with us, and some will be joining live on YouTube. Oops. And then I'm getting repetition. There we go. Get rid of that. So that's brilliant. Great to see lots of people joining on the Zoom call as well. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Hopefully everyone's feeling like they're starting to feel a little bit of benefits from their morning yoga practice so far. I know I've had quite a lot of comments in the members WhatsApp group about everyone's starting to notice the difference, which is great to hear. And we're going to be doing a really nice, gentle sunrise flow this morning. And it is, well, the sun's kind of up now, but winter, it takes a little bit while to get going. And so we're going to be doing a really nice, gentle flow this morning, just to kind of ease ourselves in, building up. Into a couple of sun salutations towards the end. And so when you're ready, you don't need any equipment for this practice. When you're ready, you're just going to find yourself in a comfortable seated position on your mat. If you don't have a mat, don't worry too much. You're very welcome to pop yourself on a cushion or a brick or a block if you'd like to bring the hips up higher than the knees, just to help feel a little bit more comfortable in that space. And when you're there, just taking a couple of shoulder rolls, just seeing if you can start to, perhaps you've got like a couple of cricks or anything going on, maybe just taking a couple of rolls from side to side, rolling those shoulders up, back, and down, just allowing the chest to just broaden and open, the hands just to settle in the lap. And then gently, if it's comfortable to do so, closing down the eyes or closing them down 95% and just leaving a slight little gap open, looking towards the floor. And just starting to notice your breath when you're here. So, good opportunity to check in with yourself, how you're feeling. And our breath is a great way, a great tool to work out what's going on. You might find that you're naturally breathing quite far up into the chest. Just noticing where you're breathing, what the texture of that breath is. And I've had a little bit of a cold this week, so apologies in advance if I cough or splutter at any time during this practice. But I notice the texture of that cold on my breath, for example. Using your breath as your focus point, just allowing whatever's been going on with your morning just to fall away, and this focus to be on the breath. Allowing you to create some quietude for yourself this morning. And what I'd like you to do is start to breathe down into your belly. So option to bring your fingertips down to the belly if it helps, just to have some physical touch there. But what we're trying to do is gently encourage the breath to go a little bit deeper. See if you can start to expand that breath. Gently working its way down. You might find that the breath is still relatively shallow at this point. Just gently encourage it. This isn't about forcing, it's just gently starting to encourage the breath to lower itself down a little bit lower into the belly. And as you inhale, feel the belly rise. And as you exhale, just allow that belly just to fall back against the spine. Next time you inhale, see if you can breathe into the belly and then fill the air up to the chest, the ribs, and then to the top of the chest. And then as you exhale, allowing the air to flow out from the top of the chest, the ribs, and the belly. Inhaling into the depths of the belly. the ribs and the chest, feeling it flow all the way up. And then exhaling, allowing the air to release from the top of the chest, the ribs, and the belly. See if you can keep going, breathing into those 3 different parts. So this is our 3-part breath. Really nice, basic yogic breathing, but really fundamental to our practice. Another couple of rounds of this. Belly, ribs, chest. Seeing if you can keep your inhale and your exhale equal in length. Taking just a couple more breaths here. And then after your next exhale, just releasing that focus on the breath. And just noticing if anything's shifted or anything's changed this morning. Perhaps the texture of the breath's changed. Maybe there's a sound or not a sound with the breath. Maybe you're feeling the breath somewhere else. Just noticing. And when you're ready, wiggling those fingers or giving them a little rub, perhaps wiggling the toes, blink those eyes open and gently roll yourself down onto your back. So I thought we'd start nicely on our back this morning. So when you're there, just hugging the knees into your chest, just giving yourself a nice little rock from side to side, a little spinal massage, lovely way to start the morning off. And there's a couple of options with this next exercise. We're going to be doing some breath and movement together. So option 1 is to keep the knees into your chest. This will work your core a little bit more. But if you want to make this exercise slightly less strenuous, perhaps take any pressure off the lower back, then you can always bring the feet down to the floor. But what we're going to be doing is bring the hands out either into a T shape or just to the side of the body somewhere. Take an inhale and then exhale the knees over to one side. They don't have to come that far over. And then we're going to come back to center as we inhale, exhale across to the opposite side. So you can keep the knees up, or if that doesn't feel very comfortable, just bring the feet to the floor and bring the knees across that way. So you're exhaling over to one side, inhaling up to center, trying to keep the inhale and the exhale equal in length. Choosing that version that feels good for you and just tuning into your breath. This is your own breath, your own rhythm. Do one more on each side. Taking your time, there's no rush. And once you finish those breaths on each side, just bringing the knees back into the chest, giving yourself that big hug once more. Option to add that little rock and roll from side to side. When you're ready, going to watch me and hopefully join in at the same time. We're going to inhale the feet up to the sky and the arms overhead. Exhale, the legs nice and wide, so coming to create this wide V shape. Inhale to bring the feet back up to center, and then exhale to hug the knees into your chest. So when you're ready, joining me. So we inhale, bring the arms up and over, feet to the sky. Exhale into a V shape. Inhale the feet back to center. Exhale to hug the knees back into the chest. Inhale, legs and arms up. Exhale, legs out to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale, coming back, knees into that little hug. Inhale out. Exhale, V shape. Inhale back together. Exhale, hug it. So just a couple more rounds. You can do this now in your own time. Hopefully you've got the rhythm. Inhaling up. Exhaling out. Inhale back to center and hug back in. And the next time you're hugging your knees into your chest, coming back to that little rock and roll, perhaps starting to rock up and down the spine. And you can come up to seated that way if you like. So I'm going to do that. Or you can roll onto your favorite side and come up the other way. So if you're going to roll up, you can just roll up like that. Lovely. And then bringing the feet outstretched in front, you can have a little bend to the knee. We're going to inhale the arms up and exhale over into a bow. Inhaling up, exhaling over. And imagine that you're hinging from the hips. So this is less about the touching your toes or stretching out through those shoulders and the arms. It's more about thinking, can I hinge from the hips? So really start the movement from the base of the spine and coming over. Starting to get the whole body warmed up now. Next time you're down, just holding it there for a couple of breaths, you might choose to extend the legs down onto the earth and press the backs of the legs into the earth, if that feels good. Holding just for a couple of breaths, even inhales and exhales. And then gently rolling yourself up, coming into an all fours position and bringing those hands a palm distance forward. We'll tuck the toes under and come and find ourselves in a downward facing dog, pressing the hips up and back. And when you're there, option to perhaps pedal the dog, so walk the dog, pressing one heel down to the earth and bending the opposite knee. See if you can get a nice little stretch through those calves. Really thinking about pressing that bum up and back at the same time. Beautiful. When you're ready, you're going to press into the left foot, inhale the right foot up and back, and then exhale it in between your hands. You can help it through, so bring that back knee down, untuck the back toes, perhaps scooch the left knee back a little bit if you'd like to extend the stretch, but we're coming into low lunge here. So options, either keep the hands on the hips, or I invite you to perhaps integrate some arms today. So inhaling the arms up. So we're pressing those hips forward. So we're feeling a nice stretch down the front of that left thigh. See if you can broaden the shoulders out, just to allow them to relax as you're pressing those fingertips up to the sky. Pressing into the whole of the front foot, perhaps the back knee at the top of the back foot, just to create a little bit of extra bonus in the stretch. You can engage through that left bum cheek. And then when you're ready, inhale to grow a little bit taller. So see if you can make your spine a little bit taller. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale to feel that spine extend once more. And then we're going to exhale, twist. So option to stay upright, or you can loop that left arm over the right knee and use the back of the arm just to hinge, find a little bit of an extra twist. Pausing here just for a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, bringing the hands either side of that front foot, curling those back toes under and stepping the front foot to meet the back, coming up to find your downward facing dog. Pressing your hips up and back. Option to pedal through the legs once more if that feels good. Or just pausing in center. There's always an option whenever we're holding our downward facing dog just to come into your child's pose if you'd like to. Otherwise, we'll pause here for just a couple more breaths. And we'll all meet in our downward facing dog. So when you're there, pressing into the right foot this time, bringing the left foot up and back, keeping the hips square to the front if you can, and then exhaling, bringing the knees in between the hands, helping that foot through to place it down, and then lowering the back knee down. So again, helping it through as you need. Feet are on train tracks just to help for a little bit of stability, and then pressing those hips forward, inhaling the arms up, pausing here. See if you can feel a nice opening through the chest. Like it's open to the day, open to the weekend ahead. Inhale to grow a little bit taller. And then exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. Inhale to grow a little bit taller. And then exhale, twisting over towards the left. Option to stay upright or option to bring that right elbow up and across that front. So just over the front thigh area. Using the back of the arm perhaps to provide a little bit of extra hinge if you're going for that option. Pausing here. Pressing into the whole of the front foot. Coming back to your lovely even breath. Beautiful. Inhaling up, exhale the hands either side of that front foot and curling the back toes under. We will step the front foot to meet the back, coming into our downward facing dog once more. Not holding it for very long this time, let's shuffle the feet up to the front top of the mat. Allowing the knees to have a generous bend, particularly if you're still working with warming up those legs or working with your flexibility this morning. Going to nod and shake the head just to release off the neck and shoulders. Really seeing if you can take a nice, luxurious kind of forward fold. So keeping that bend in the legs just to take off a bit of pressure off the lower back and to allow your belly to start to come towards the tops of the thighs. Seeing if you can soften through the face, the neck, the shoulders. Option to add a little free movement here. And then inhaling and starting to engage through the core, pressing through the heels. You're going to roll yourself up, taking your time, breathing softly here. And when you reach the top of the mat, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. Beautiful. So from the very top of your mat, just checking in with your feet. If you make them about shoulder distance apart, palms facing towards the front, pressing the feet into the earth, tiny little bend in the knees, lovely straight spine in our mountain pose. Couple of breaths here. Just checking in with yourself. Perhaps applauding yourself for getting up and getting on your mat this morning. And then when we're ready, we're going to step through just a couple of rounds of sun salutation, but bringing in those twists from the lunges that we did just before. So inhaling the arms up. I'm going to exhale through the midline, bending into that forward fold. Taking a breath in, press into the heels, engage through the core, coming into a flat back position. Bringing the fingertips to the ground. You're going to step the left foot back and then follow it with the right foot coming into a plank pose. Option to lower the knees down. Wherever you are, I really want you to focus on engaging through the core, the bums, and the tops of the thighs. You'll still be working pretty hard in this position, but otherwise holding your full high plank position, pressing away through the heels if you're going through this option, keeping your body in a nice pencil position. Couple more breaths. Pressing away with those hands. And then exhale, lowering the knees down, untucking the toes, keeping everything sucked in, keeping the elbows sucked in towards your ribs as you roll yourself down. And then roll yourself up into a little cobra, a little baby back bend. So just bringing that chest up and off the earth, feeling this heart opening. Elbows are sucked in towards the sides of the body, and you're pressing into the tops of the feet, keeping the backs of the legs really active. When you're ready, pressing into those hands, rolling yourself up and back. Option to come through at a child's pose or tucking the toes under. You're going to come straight up into your downward facing dog. We'll pause here for just a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, bringing that left foot up and back. Inhale here. Exhale to bring that knee in between the hands, step that foot through, coming down with that right knee, untucking the toes, and inhale the arms up into your low lunge. See if you can just use this time to find that stable lunge, pressing in through that left foot. Inhale to grow a little bit taller. Exhale to bring the hands to heart center. Inhale to grow a little bit taller. And then exhale either upwards or coming into that across the leg twist, so going towards the left. Just enjoying gentle low lunge twist. Lovely. Inhale to untwizzle. Exhale to bring the hands either side of that front foot. Tuck the back toes under. And then what you're going to do is just bring them to meet the front ones. So stepping them forward. Breathe in to come into your flat back position, pressing into the heels, engaging through the core, finding a flat back position. Exhale to just allow yourself to dangle for a moment in your forward fold, releasing those knees off. And then you're going to bring the arms out to the side as you inhale, scooping the air up and over. And then exhale to bring the hands to heart center. Beautiful. Pausing here just for a couple of breaths. Option to keep those hands at heart center, or you can always just allow the shoulders to soften and bring the palms to face the front. Blinking those eyes open once more if they were shut. We're going to come through that sun salutation once more on the opposite side. So bringing the hands back down, inhaling the arms up, exhaling through the midline. Inhale, halfway lift, find that flat back position. And then we're stepping back with the right foot this time. So fingertips to the earth, step back with the right foot, and then bring the left to join it, either holding that high plank or coming into your low plank. As we pause just for a couple more breaths in that lovely straight line, engaging through the core, the bum, the tops of the thighs. Exhale to soften the knees to the earth. And then lower yourself all the way down, keeping those elbows sucked in, pressing into the tops of the feet as you start to raise your chest up, opening through that heart space, shoulder blades up, back and down. pressing away with those hands, pressing yourself up and back, tucking those toes under and coming straight up to the downward facing dog, or option to come through that child's pose. Take your choice. We pause for 2 more breaths. So if you're in child's pose, come and meet us in downward facing dog now. And then when you're ready, you're going to press into that left foot, inhale the right foot up and back, and then exhale the knee in between your hands, helping it through as required. Lowering that left knee to the earth, untucking the toes, finding your low lunge, inhale the arms up. Lovely straight spine. Engaging through those fingertips up to the sky. Pressing through the whole of that front foot. Inhale to grow a little bit taller. Exhale to bring the hands to heart center. Inhale to go a little bit taller through the spine. Engage through that core. We twist from the middle back as we come across towards the right. Option to stay upright or bring that left elbow over the right knee. And you use the back of the arm just to find an extra twist. Pausing for a couple of breaths in your twist wherever you are. Engage through the whole of the right foot. Press that foot into the floor to help with your stability. Inhale to untwizzle. Exhale to bring the hands either side of that front foot and tucking those back toes under, bringing that back foot to meet the front. Let's inhale to our flat back position. Pressing into those heels. Exhale, release into your forward fold. Nod and shake the head. And then scooping the arms up and around. As we inhale up to the sky. Exhale the hands to heart center. Beautiful. Hopefully we're feeling a little bit more awake and alive this morning, like we've started to stretch and awaken our bodies. And we've just got time for a little bit more. So inhaling the hands in front, so palms together. We're going to exhale the arms wide. Inhale back to center. And then exhale to the diagonal. It doesn't matter which side you start with, but one arm up, one arm down. Inhale back up to center. Opposite side, diagonal. Exhale back to center. And let's go around that one more time. Exhaling out to the side. Diagonal one way. Coming back as you exhale. Inhale out to the other side. Exhale back to center. And then once more, coming out, bringing that wingspan nice and wide. Just allow that chest to open, that heart space to open, to fill up at the beginning of your day. Pausing here just for a couple of breaths. Taking it all in. You've got your weekend ahead of you. And then bringing those hands back to center on your next exhale. Bringing the hands just to the chest area. A little bit of a challenge. Thought we did a little challenge to get down today. So just bring one foot on top of the other. And then she's going to sink back down, coming onto your bum. So you might just fall down at the end. But coming to find a, doesn't have to be that way, but you're coming down into a comfortable seated position. And then either keeping the hands at heart center. So in your prayer position, you can have one hand on top of each other if you prefer, or just the hands in the lap. I invite you to close your practice by closing your eyes, noticing that breath once more. So just observing any shifts, anything that's perhaps changed with where you're feeling the breath, the texture of the breath, the sound of the breath, or anything else. And I invite you to think of three things that you're grateful for this morning. So it can be big things like, family or like bigger life things going on, or it can be really small things like your morning cup of tea. So just thinking of at least three things that I'm grateful for and just starting to list them in your mind's eye, so in your head this morning. And just gently taking a moment to bring the hands together, rubbing the fingertips, creating a little bit of warmth. You can even do the backs of the hands depending on how warm it is in your house, just to warm everything up. And then bringing them up, your hands up and over the eyes, blinking those eyes open. And I wanted to thank you very much for practicing with me this morning, whether it was live in the Zoom room or on YouTube. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the morning yoga habit challenge so far. And there will be day 7, the Sunday stretch and soothe, tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to end it because I think it will end on YouTube at the same time. So thanks, everyone.